What happened?
We lost David.
Realistically, Black Ops 7 ranked play, but you either can't get to the rank that you want, or you've gotten so hard stuck that if you play Black Ops 7 ranked play, but you either can't get to the rank that you want, or you've gotten so hard stuck that ranking up feels impossible, then this is the video for you, as we'll be going over 5 ways to rank up faster, starting with winning more gunfights, going all the way up to my #1 tip for winning more games in Black Ops 7 ranked play. Now, with these 5 tips, the first 3 are going to be focused on winning more gunfights, and the last 2 will be focused on winning more games. So let's start with tip 1, which is take good routes. And some of you might be confused, we were talking about gunfights, why are we now talking about routes? Well, hear me out for a second. I started out Black Ops 7 ranked play not knowing a ton about how hardpoint plays in this game, and I defaulted to headbutting the front of hill every single time, and I was frustrated when that led to me losing gunfights that actually favored my opponents. You need to know the difference between situations where it's important to headbutt the hill and when it's important to take a route and get the better spawns. Once you learn this distinction, you'll find yourself in more favorable positions, leading to more favorable gunfights, which means more kills and a higher score. What I'm not telling you to do is flank every single life, because if you spawn on the correct side of hill and then decide to take a flank route, sure, you'll get more kills, but if your team isn't blocking properly, all you're doing is getting free kills and bumping up your stat line, but then you're going to end up losing the spawns and then losing the game. To emphasize the first tip about taking good routes, I'm going to go over a live gameplay here. This is against a top 250 duo, so if you look at that P1 to P2 rotation, I spawn here at statue, and instead of banging out the front of hill with my team, I think what's more important is taking an X-ray route to go left and then try to get the back spawns. My teammates have already died on front. My other teammate Savi is top mid, and he's waiting on me to make a play blue. So I get the 2 kills, and instead of just running forward, I kind of look towards the back, because if you're playing against good players, they're going to leave the hill and try to force the spawns to work in favor of their teammates. They end up doing that because their teammate spawns with them. I'm just trying to tag them up and waste time so that I'm making the spawns mixy, turning on the person top mid, and then converging on the hill right here. I don't end up winning the gunfight, which is fine, but we gain control of the hill, and just with me being blue right there, it made that hill mixy enough from a spawn perspective that we actually end up with more time on the hill than they do. Now, if we watch that life again, if I were to just hit the hill with my team right here, yes, they get 2-piece. Maybe I could have gotten a crazy trade or something like that. Realistically, we would have all 3 died and then had to start again from the beginning. So this play objectively is more important for the team, forcing towards blue, forcing these spawns, and after all these kills are said and done, then we're in more favorable positions because we'll be fighting
for like my lobbies where the people are sitting in his ranks. They're not going to be sitting in these lobbies. So realistically, we should, as a team, collectively be able to take all of this and use it to our advantage, so that we're not in gold. I know that sounds stupid, or it sounds unrealistic to say, but it's like, dude, I know that there's not gold. There's golds and lowers and plats that aren't watching this. They're not watching the pros. They're just playing like it's regular pubs, but competitive. Like, it's weird.
From the correct side of the hill. And tip number 2 for winning more gunfights and eventually earning more SR and ranking up faster is to predict your opponents. What a lot of people don't understand is that the majority of gunfights actually happen in your brain rather than your thumbs. To explain, predicting where your opponents are going to be coming from and making sure that your gun is up and ready is objectively more important than having good mechanical gun skill. Let's take this P2 flank route that we were just talking about through X-ray, for example. Let's say that we're taking a good route to flank blue and then eventually get the spawns. If you're using your brain to actively predict where your opponents will be, then as you round this angle, you'll be predicting one of your opponents to be on that head glitch right there. Because if you're playing against a good opponent, they're already going to be back blue looking towards this head glitch or towards this right route. This is also where centering comes into play. So yes, we can talk about centering as a mechanical skill where you're technically making sure that your sights are lining up with whatever head glitch is going to be there. But what we're talking about here is a step further, and it's active prediction of where your opponents are most likely to be depending on the scenario in game. As you're running left and you clear this head glitch, you need to make sure that you're not getting a timing there. And if you truly don't see anything, then you might need to worry about somebody playing even further back, like at these stairs, or even playing a back corner here to block the blue spawns. Because sure, you might be doing the right thing by hitting the flank route, but if you were to lose this gunfight or get caught off guard, would you lose this gunfight strictly because you weren't anticipating them there? And if that's the case, then just make sure that you're ready for it next time. We can see an example of me predicting my opponents and anticipating them from the same clip we were just going over. As I'm rounding out of X-ray, you can see I'm centering on that head glitch and I catch a timing. Instead of full going left, I fake right, get a 2-piece, and even here, after I push towards back blue, I'm jumping and I'm centering towards the back spawn because I'm anticipating that the last player will be prioritizing the blue spawns instead of any gunfights towards the front. Once you understand that the majority of gunfights are happening in your head, in your anticipation, and in your predictions, you'll find yourself playing a lot more favorable positions and ultimately winning more gunfights. And tip number 3 is to keep your gun up. For this tip, I'm going to take the opportunity to watch some footage of an example of what I did wrong. So you'll see here, as I'm rounding the head glitch, I'm ADSing around, I take the second to sprint and slide. In just that split second of sprinting and sliding was enough to make me lose the gunfight. Part of predicting your opponents and taking good routes is that active decision making between when you're sprinting and when you have your gun up. And what some people might do, myself included, would be to complain about this and say, oh, I just got such bad timing. In reality, if I just kept ADSing for 1 more second, I would have potentially gotten 2 kills instead of just dying to the first guy. One thing that I recommend you doing after watching this video is to actually record and watch footage of yourself playing and see how many times you lose gunfights strictly because your gun isn't up, rather than actually the mechanical aspect of you losing it, like poor aim or improper aim or something like that. How many times are you losing gunfights strictly because your gun isn't even up to be in one? I don't care if you're the most mechanically skilled player in the entire world. If your gun is not up in certain situations, you can't win every single gunfight. If you notice a lot of your gunfights happen reactively and you tend to be surprised, then you likely need to improve on how often your gun is up or not up. And if you are someone that starts playing super frantic, and I definitely have experience playing frantic in certain situations, you'll realize that you spend so much more time running around with poor centering and poor movement than you do actually predicting opponents with your gun up. And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter how good your mechanical gun skill is. If your gun isn't up, you can't win the fight. So the next time you're playing or you're watching footage of your own gameplay, keep track of how often your gun isn't up and then make the changes needed the next time that you're online. These 3 tips together will have you winning way more gunfights in the future. And the 4th tip, as well as the final tip, are on how to win more games. Specifically tip number 4, which is to improve your ball knowledge. Yes, we're going to be talking about overload. And here's how to win every overload game in Black Ops 7 range play. Every single time you grab the ball, look at the minimap. If your teammates have a lane pushed out,
Chocolate fundraiser. With the Chase mobile app, things move a little more.
go meet them, and then score. If they don't, you have 2 options. You can wait or you can finesse. And the best finesse route in all of Black Ops 7 ranked play is on Scar. Cut to the right and then jump up top green, and instead of running towards the A zone where your opponents will be predicting you, wrap to the left, then jump out of top green window for a free score on the B zone. The number 1 mistake that I see in Overload and Black Ops 7 ranked play is people meeting up to protect the ball. Instead of going straight to the ball, your job is to push out a lane, making space for the ball to then follow you and score. If you don't have any pressure on this side of the map, your opponents are going to spawn even closer, making it way easier for them to defend this zone. This is why Overload can feel really difficult for some people, is that they're strictly prioritizing grabbing the ball and then doing anything in their power to try to finesse their way towards the B zone or the A zone, when in reality, a good overload score should feel relatively simple. You just have to do it in the right steps. To show an example on how you can improve your ball knowledge, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. So I wrap back to kill the opponents on the ball, or at least assist with the kill. And then the first thing that I do is turn around and I'm making space in the left lane for my team. I find that first kill and I'm just hoping that they follow me. If you have a microphone or something like that, you can do that too. I'm holding this cut off, I get the 2-piece, and then the first thing that I do again is take more space for the ball. At this point, I'm just getting flashy kills, but what I'm doing here is I'm staying out on this side of the map. Although I think that last part was incorrect because the next spawn point for the ball is going to be roofs. So I didn't necessarily need to stay pushed out on the left side, but the point still stands. Instead of running towards the ball as fast as I can, trying to finesse with the ball the best that I can, what I'm doing is taking space on that left lane for the team, and then the ball follows, and then they score. It should be simple every single time. And then the last tip, tip number 5 for ranking up faster in Black Ops 7 ranked play, and my number 1 tip for ranked play right now is to know the best hill setups in hardpoint. I guess the better wording is the optimal hill setups for hardpoint. Now, almost every single hill in hardpoint has a favorable side or an optimal setup that can lead to a full 60 seconds of hill time. And it's important to know the best way that you can hold each hill. That way you can take a quick look at your minimap and immediately know where you're most beneficial. Let's take Scar P2 for an example, one that I see a lot of people get wrong. I would argue that the blue spawns are more favorable than the back green spawns for P2. An optimal hold would have 1 person holding hill time behind gens, 1 teammate top red, maybe even top 90 to help with front time, 1 teammate at the back head glitch to hold the lower cross, and 1 teammate top blue roof, not only blocking spawns but also holding the pinch through store and also able to strafe out and help with the cross to hill. The biggest mistake that I see people make while holding P2 from the blue side is mindlessly flanking through store. It's so tempting to hit a flank route and get some free kills in the back, but it's important to ask yourself, am I helping the team by getting these kills or taking this route? Or is it too risky because I'm potentially giving up the back blue spawns and then pushing even even further towards green, which could cause your opponents to flip out behind you. Basically, when you're taking any route, you need to ask yourself, am I helping the team or am I hurting the team strictly based on my position? Even in an ideal world, when you push through store and get 4 down, if your team is not blocking the back blue spawns and you flank store for no reason, then your opponents again are just going to spawn right behind you and then likely take control of the hill. When you spawn up with control of a hill, the very first thing that you should do is check your minimap and decide where you're most needed. And it's important to know that this won't always match your role. Let's say you're a submachine gun player and you spawn on the blue side of P2. You check your minimap and you see that a teammate is on time and a teammate is top red, and your last teammate is top blue watching the pinch. Even if you love running an SMG, objectively the best thing that you can do for your team is to swap to an assault rifle, go to the low head glitch, and help your teammates with across the time. Players that can make that quick decision making are not only the best team players, but they will win the most games and ultimately earn more SR. And here's actually a pro example of what a full 60 optimal hold looks like on that Scar P2. If you're interested in more optimal holds like this is a Twitter page called Minimap VODs. Here's what I'm talking about. You have player number 3 that's top blue blocking the spawns. As players are spawning up, they're filling positions. You see number 2 is the last to spawn up. The first thing they do, they look at the minimap and decide that they're last up, and their most beneficial place to be is blocking spawns and holding the pinch. You see they're pushing out the front of the hill, but they're able to do so because player number 2 is blocking those back spawns like we were talking about. But you'll see even they funnel forward as their teammate dies, and then player 3, it's their turn to funnel back and look towards the blue spawns. And we're just kind of emphasizing that spawn block perspective. This whole thing of the most optimal hold and the most optimal spot to be in also applies to the people that are closer to the front of the hill. So keep that in mind the next time that you spawn up and look at your minimap. You should be practicing that quick decision making to, again, determine where am I most beneficial right now and what positioning will help my team get the most score off of this objective. And those are my top 5 ways to rank up faster in Black Ops 7 ranked play. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and let me know down below if I should do more